For the first time in 50 years, a new TTRPG, Daggerheart, has a real shot at dethroning Dungeons & Dragons. Not because it's the best role-playing game ever created, because Critical Role has a strong celebrity brand, while WotC ran too many of their legacy fans from the IP, which is why I moved to Castles and Crusades. I played tabletop role-playing games to do things I can't in real life. I'm not here to sit through your sexual fantasies at the table. I hated that as a teenager, and I hate it even more as an adult. Learn to find the clitoris in real life before pretending you know where it is in a game. 4th edition isn't real D&D, and that's not an insult. It's just the truth. If you love 4E, own it. Say it proudly. That's right. It's not D&D, and that's exactly why I like it. The only reason that bothers people is the word real, but 4E is a real game, and Holmes Basic was the last real edition of D&D. I've gathered some of the most valuable lessons I've learned over 45 years of running tabletop role-playing games. I've grouped topics into sections, and each could itself be an entire video. But remember, this isn't Israel and Palestine we're talking about, so chill out, okay? This is just a game. And for the haters, that's cool, man. I own a mirror. I know what I look like. I go out in public looking like this, so save yourself the hate. Listen and learn. Here's a picture of me as a teenager. Here's a picture at age 20. Here at age 25. You think I haven't heard it all before? All that tells me is they're an unhappy person. Happy, well-adjusted people don't lash out anonymously over the internet. So I'm not upset with them. I feel sorry for them. I hope they find joy instead. This is partly why I promote positive mental health on this channel. As a community, we all need to be brutally honest with ourselves and this hobby. We need to reject hate and bullying from any source and every direction. Criticism is fair. Satirizing is fair. Rejecting drama farmers and doom posting is fair game. But bullying marginalized people and hiding behind your politics or religion doesn't make you moral. It just makes you a bully. And guess what? Real goths are like real nerds. We've been bullied, so we never bully others, especially fellow gamers. I don't care how diverse you claim to be. I'm so diverse. Or what political party you hide behind. Being a good person isn't political. It's just basic human decency. If that threatens someone's worldview, they and their worldview are both absolute crap. Bullying is terrible behavior coming from children. It's even worse from an adult. Some of you have commented about my positivity. This video may break your image. Last time I was at the barber, a super cool punk goth woman, I told her, hey, some of my subscribers have praised my positivity. She literally burst out laughing. Someone I only see for 15 to 20 minutes every month or two thought the idea of anyone perceiving me as positive was so ludicrous, she completely lost it. I'm not a positive person. I choose to project positivity on YouTube because I'm an adult, and I believe that's important. I believe that's a sign of maturity and a responsibility all adults have online, especially YouTube. But in reality, I'm so cynical. I used to think positive people had low IQs and were unaware of what was going on in the world around them. But I learned that positivity is a choice. It's an act of bravery. And just like bravery, positivity doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means you choose to do right and go forward despite it. Some of you have expressed displeasure with my recent attempts at making eye-catching thumbnails. I was even told my thumbnails were disrespectful to my subscribers. And I would like to say, I am so deeply sorry that the free videos I spend over 40 hours of work creating are causing anyone emotional distress simply because I'm tired of having a stagnant channel. I tried it with boring thumbnails for 2 years, and it didn't work. If you think I'm disrespecting you because I want my videos to compete with literally millions of other videos, I'd like to offer these possible solutions. First, you could just block this channel, or you could reach out to every person on YouTube and persuade them to change their viewing habits. Or...
Can you shut the fuck up?
Yeah. See, the thing is, I agree. I hate the thumbnail game. My crazy thumbnails are meant to satirize the stupidity of it all. I would love to not even have my image on these thumbnails, just the topic title. I tried that at first, didn't work. So complaints about thumbnails for free videos on the internet, listen, we're all adults here. My analytics make that clear. You're not new to YouTube. You know how the internet works. If you're mad about it, go yell at Mr. Beast. Just Please stop complaining about things that are beyond the control of content creators. I assure you, we don't like it either. I recently uploaded a video reviewing a great game. In the comments, somebody said, 6 minutes and I still have no idea what this game is about. Somebody responded to them with 8 minutes. I used to feel responsible for feedback like that. I used to feel that I needed to do better, that their criticisms represented a failure on my part. But here's the thing. Part of my professional work off YouTube involves public speaking, and I've been doing that for over 10 years. In my professional work, I'm rated as one of the highest in my field. And as a teenager, I took acting classes for 6 years, plus the 45 years I've been running games. So I feel like my communication skills aren't all that terrible. And here's the real big kicker. Literally within the first 60 seconds of that video, I stated this is a 5e version of D20 Modern. I don't know how much more clear I needed to be. Do you know what 5e is? Do you know what D20 Modern is? Great. Now you know what the game is. What I've realized through my 2 years here on YouTube is this channel isn't going to appeal to stupid people. If someone has trouble making it through the day without licking the inside of an active light socket, this channel isn't going to appeal to them. So I've stopped trying. There are plenty of other channels that already cater to the lowest common denominator. Here's a hot take every DungeonTuber knows but may not be willing to say out loud. The number of subscribers on a DungeonTubers channel isn't a measure of the quality of their advice. In fact, the fastest growing channels aren't usually gaining the most thoughtful or experienced gamers. They're feeding the noobs and chasing the low-hanging fruit. I doubt many of those viewers will still be playing in a few years. Depth rarely goes viral, and ageism promoted by WotC is off the charts, creating a huge barrier between the old and young gamers. Furthermore, if the audience for a DungeonTuber is there for the latest Reddit trend or outrage of the week, they're not really in it for the game, and neither is that DungeonTuber. Oh, it sounds like Aten is just bitter. Well, frankly, I am annoyed that we live in a world that is getting stupider by the day, but my observations come from the fact that several channels I deem to be of the highest quality aren't dominating the sub counts and views, while someone reading Reddit posts is killing it. Good for them. I wish everyone all of the success, and my criticism isn't even about them. It just shows the vast majority of people aren't here for quality gaming information. Despite increased visibility, TTRPGs are not now, nor have they ever truly been popular. While TTRPGs have gained more attention in recent years, especially through platforms like Critical Role and shows like Stranger Things, they remain a niche hobby. I have a lot of data to back this up. The core community consists of dedicated enthusiasts, and the broader appeal is limited. The perception of TTRPGs as mainstream is often fueled by transient interest rather than sustained engagement. I despise Reddit. The younger generations of gamers who unfairly label older gamers as racist and sexist are the very same demographic that spends time on Reddit, a platform with rampant bigotry, sexism, and racism. I deleted my little used account there after discovering just how bad it is. So please, if you post on Reddit, spare me the fake indignations and performative internet activism. A Reddit thread isn't the revelation some might think. For all of the toxicity WotC has injected into our hobby, Reddit is just as bad, if not worse. But at least WotC does it for financial reasons. Reddit does it because that's where ignorance flourishes. That's where people who have no idea how to play D&D are happy to tell other people how to play D&D. In a recent video, I had a disclaimer. If you think something is incorrect, please fact check yourself before calling me out in the comments. I said that because almost every time somebody says I'm wrong about something, I go fact check myself. And what I discover is in almost every case is that they are mistaken. So now they've just wasted my time. If I'm ever going to be objectively incorrect about anything in a video, it will be a mispronunciation. That happens sometimes. Or it may be related to numbers. I may have said page 93 when I meant 39. I have mild dyscalculia, so I stumble around numbers. It's annoying, but TTRPGs actually help me since they require constant math. But outside of numbers and mispronunciations, an error is highly unlikely. Okay, how we doing so far? I figured it's time for a check-in because things are about to get worse. I've created this video to help promote my commentary channel, which is where this type of content really belongs. I was going to address racism and sexism allegations as well as Gary Gygax in this video, but it doubled the length. at least. So I'm planning on a full journalism piece regarding those discussions. I've been working on that for over a year, not to promote a personal opinion, just to review all of the evidence from all sides. Right now, I have a video on that channel addressing racial inequality in media bias, known as missing white girl syndrome. That video has already received a ton of downvotes because people with their political opinions shoved too far up their asses hate hearing facts that challenge them to show compassion for others. Subscribe there for more content that will piss you off. But a reminder, that channel like this one does not promote political tribalism. I promote kindness and critical thinking. One of the biggest lies you'll hear about this hobby is there's no wrong way to play so long as y'all having fun. That's false. That's dead wrong. There are plenty of wrong ways to play. Just ask Reddit. Those horror stories exist for a reason. And guess what? A lot of those people causing the problems, they're having fun. It's everyone else that's not. By the way, the whole idea there's no wrong way to play, that began with my generation of gamers because we had to interpret the rules ourselves with little outside help, resulting in often vastly different styles of gameplay. But that concept has been taken advantage of in recent years. The truth is, there are countless wrong ways to play. You just need to figure out what's right or wrong for your table. Not every table needs to or should be playing the same way, but every table needs to know what it won't tolerate. Because remember, birds of a feather flock together. So if you're playing with a group of jerks, there's a strong possibility you're a jerk. And that brings us to table manners. Table manners matter. Empathy isn't a weakness, it's the strongest magic in the game. You can't tease someone for their RP voices and then wonder why nobody role-plays at your table. If your edgy character is a license to be toxic, you're not role-playing, you're just a jerk. If your fun comes at the expense of someone else, it's not a play style, it's a problem. D&D isn't therapy. Your DM isn't your therapist, unless you are in fact seeing a licensed therapist who is using D&D specifically for the purposes of therapy, but that would be rare. And though it isn't therapy, it can be therapeutic. At best, RPG safety tools improve communication between participants to improve enjoyment of the game. At worst, they inadvertently provide cover for toxic people to cause harm to others. It is weird that some people don't understand that. If you disagree with my statement, it's not because I'm wrong, it's because you've yet to fully understand human behavior. And arguing with me about RPG safety tools is nearly as futile as trying to argue with me about TTRPGs in general. The goth subculture has a long history with the BDSM kink subculture. I'm not interested in being lectured about bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, sadism and masochism protocols in tabletop role-playing games. In fact, I think that some people often forget what BDSM stands for. I found those who think they can lecture me about it are precisely the type of people who RPG safety tools were created to protect others from. If you haven't already watched my safety tools video from 2 years ago, I believe it's the best on YouTube. I hope you'll watch it after this. I stand by everything I said in that video. If a game table truly requires X-cart intervention to remain enjoyable, you don't need safety tools, you need a new group. Also, before anyone jumps to conclusions about what I'm saying, that video literally shows you my RPG safety tools document from the 90s, which I created at least 5 years before anything like that was ever officially published and introduced into the hobby. I moved that video to my commentary channel because of the drama and personal trauma it was causing here. After that commentary channel reaches enough subscribers, I'm planning on a follow-up to highlight some of the most concerning responses my safety tools video received. Many of those taking issue with my video thought they were trying to prove me wrong, but all they were doing was bolstering my arguments and proving themselves to be toxic. Some greasy nerd trying to lecture me about BDSM from his mom's basement while telling me I'm a mono gamer because I'm not trying to practice unlicensed mental health therapies on my gaming group is exactly the type of person you should never game with. I'll make a free PDF of my 90s safety tools document available when I do that follow-up video. There's a link to my commentary channel in this video's description. Playing, or at least trying, other TTRPGs will usually make you better at your favorite one. Every system teaches you something: pacing, tone, stakes, narrative structure, while improving your skills and expanding your imagination. If you're unwilling to even try another game, you're not really a gamer. You're a consumer loyal to a brand. Being a gamer means exploring games, not just repeating the same one out of habit. If you've only ever played one game and refused to try others, you're not a gamer, you're a fanboy simp. Don't simp for anyone, especially not D&D. There's a difference between loving a game and refusing to grow past it. And I'm sorry to say this, but neither WotC nor D&D deserve our continued brand loyalty. We can't remain in toxic relationships simply because it feels familiar or because we've already invested so much into it. That's called the lost cause fallacy. Armor class doesn't mean you're not getting hit. Hit points don't mean you're a meat tank. They're abstractions. AC is how hard you are to hurt, not how hard you are to hit. Hit points aren't just flesh and blood. It's stamina, skill, morale, grit, divine favor, luck, plot armor, all of that and more. Thinking hit points equals meat and AC equals armor is how you end up arguing over realism in a game with owlbears and wizards. All those giving game master advice, including myself, aren't telling you how to run games. We're telling you how we run games. If you want to be good at this, you'll need to find something none of us can give you: your own voice and style. All GM advice is autobiographical. Learn what is useful to you, but don't live in someone else's games. Another big lie that gets repeated a lot is they say that game masters aren't storytellers. That's only half true. To be any good at all behind the GM screen requires skills that aren't in the rules. Knowing all the rules is not nearly as important as having good storytelling skills. Being a GM without knowing what it takes to tell a good story is like being a chef with no taste buds. I have a full video on this topic. Creating and playing in your own homebrew world is infinitely better than playing in a published one. Not much more needs to be said about that. Create your own world. Start doing it now. If you truly love this hobby, you'll be glad you did. Well, if you haven't already been pissed off, this might do it for you. Theory crafting character builds isn't role-playing. It's just another form of rules lawyering. DungeonTubers who spend time covering theory crafting are noobs crapping on the hobby and their viewers by promoting a practice that leads to burnout in the hobby. If you're playing a game with no chance of failure, are you really even playing a game? If you want to enjoy theory crafting, that's fine. Just leave the gaming table and go play a video game. If your fun depends on exploiting mechanics instead of engaging in the world, you're not playing a character, you're playing the system. If your character only works by following an exact feat order and multi-class recipe, you're not creating a hero, you're drafting a frickin' spreadsheet. These are role-playing games, not spreadsheeting homework assignments. Rules lawyering doesn't always sound like, well, actually. Sometimes it sounds like 14 hours of YouTube and Reddit build guides. There's nothing wrong with optimizing, but if you think theory crafting is peak D&D, you should find a different activity better suited to your interests. May I suggest recreational accounting? For clarity, I don't hate optimization. My players optimize. I only hate it when it attempts to replace imagination. Here's an analogy I think really captures this theory crafting phenomenon. I was a semi-professional musician in the 90s, educated in music theory and composition. Musicians generally hear music differently than most people. We tend to notice chord progressions, key changes, melodies, harmonies, timing. Personally, I can't stand anything that's just monotone, repetitive 4/4 kick drum and bass line. But some people absolutely love that, and that's totally okay. On the flip side, there are some people who love jazz with wild tempo changes and complex harmonies, and they look at me like I'm some uncultured simpleton. And you know what? They're right too, because different people like different things.
Different people like different things.
Failure to accept that will only make your life harder. Failure to accept differences in others only makes you susceptible to manipulation and fear-mongering. To me, theory crafting ultra-optimized characters is the tabletop equivalent of that repetitive 4/4 drum beat. But for some players, that's what makes the game feel good. While I will not allow exploit builds at my table, what you do on your table, no concern to me. Anyone who tries to argue with you about your own choices and preferences, who tells you you're wrong for liking what you like, is just insecure about themselves. And that doesn't end with gaming. It applies to every fiber of who you are. Never give in to hate. I am unapologetically intolerant of intolerance. These have all been some strong opinions I hold about the hobby I love and life in general. You don't have to agree with me. Just please think for yourself. That's what separates you from everyone else. This hobby is big enough for all of us, so long as we show empathy and compassion. And for those who don't, for the bullies, the narcissists, the joy killers, young and old, the drama farmers, I'm happy to keep the gate locked. As always, I'm your host and friend, Aten. Thanks for watching.